This is the Expect Miracles podcast. Enjoy the show. Welcome, everyone, to another episode. For weekly episodes, make sure to hit the subscribe button. You can also find us on Instagram at drkevinpecca, Facebook at Montclair Upper Cervical, and montclairuppercervical@gmail.com. Today on the podcast, we have two amazing healers who have been doing really amazing work through their Revelation Breathwork classes. If you haven't heard of Maura and Jason Amoroso, you can check out their website at revelationbreathwork.com and sign up for a class to see the magic for yourself. Maura is a chiropractor and healer out of Santa Monica, California, and Jason is a life coach that works with professional athletes. Together, they are helping others heal through their Revelation Breathwork classes, and I highly recommend it as it's one of the best classes I've ever taken myself. And now you can even experience it through the comfort of your own home. So without further ado, please welcome Maura and Jason Amoroso. Today on the Expect Miracles podcast, we have two of my favorite healers in the entire world, my cousins, Jay and Maura Amoroso. How are you guys today? It's been a while since we sat down and did this. Both recurring guests on the show. How are you guys?
Kev, we're so happy to be with you. This is really awesome.
Yeah, honored to just share whatever we can share to support your community. Really excited to be with you, Kev.
Absolutely. So one of my favorite things about both of you is how your journeys have evolved over the years. Jay, you started out as a lawyer. Maura, you started off as chiropractic, acupuncture, and you're both in just such different, amazing places right now. So how has the journey evolved for you guys over the years?
You want to go first? Ladies first.
Oh, great. How has the journey evolved? Well, so we have four very active, exuberant boys, and that has definitely impacted the journey incredibly. Also the trajectory. I started knowing that I wanted to work with families in body healing and chiropractic and craniosacral. I started with acupuncture, and tending to my own family really solidified that inside of myself. And then over the years, I've been more and more drawn to supporting women and how like the nuanced way of how they get in the way of their healing, just these more psychological barriers and emotional and how that's stored in the body. But both Jason and I have our master's degree in spiritual psychology with it. And then I went for another year for it to have an emphasis on consciousness, health, and healing. And by far, that understanding, that education has impacted completely how I view healing, how I view bodies, how I view emotions and thinking and souls. And so that really, with that as a part of the foundation, I've been slowly seeking more and more ways outside of the bubble of more of the body healing work. And it's, breath work has been like a very easy transition into it because it is such a physical experience, yet it can tap into so many other realms of our being. And so that's kind of like the trajectory. And now as we're doing trainings and I'm incorporating that more into not only my chiropractic and craniosacral sessions, but my coaching sessions, it's like really exciting. I'm like, wow.
Absolutely. And I can see it. I see how excited you guys are in your work. And Jay, if you could just do a brief introduction on how you started and what you're doing right now, kind of like what Maura just did.
Yeah, I would say I was listening to her and thinking about how I would answer this question, and a lot of patience, a lot of, I think, following what I think I want, my kind of what my heart's, the vision I see for my life in the moment, whether it be, I went to law school, but that wasn't a vision in my heart. That was, I didn't want to get a job after undergrad. But then it was like baseball and being a GM and using creative thing, transitioned over to something more like that's when we were getting our masters in spiritual psychology. And it was a different level of really helping people in their life, getting clear on what they wanted and what was in the way and how they could really step into and take action to create what they want. And that moved into coaching. And then just like there's been so many different jobs and careers that I've worked in, from IT, music publishing, to all these different things. And now it's easy to look back at, where I society of marketing and advertising that tells us like, hey, there's this step, there's these 5 steps to do, there's this formula, there's like a path that you can take that's going to give you the result that you want. And there are guidelines, but everybody's got their own path. So like, as I've evolved, I would say be patient, be open, just keep following what's speaking to you, a lot of listening. There's been a lot of dark days where I feel like I'm lost, where I feel like I'm not qualified to do what I'm doing, where I feel like I don't know what I'm doing, or I don't know if I'm doing the right thing. And then there's days where it's like, this is exactly where I'm supposed to be. So like that whole journey has evolved over time, and it's moved into working with professional athletes on the performance side, on character development, on leadership development, which I love, being part of an organization, part of something of so many people building towards something that can impact millions of people. As we see sports fans get pretty involved in their teams and the cities and what it can do for the city. And on the breath work and the coaching and the fears and the resistances to stepping into something and seeing a possibility for life beyond like their limitations, their conditions, their patterns. And so like 10 years ago, I couldn't have told you about breath work, but the moment that Maura brought it to me and I experienced it, I knew I needed to bring it to my clients because it's the most simple, effective healing tool that I've experienced. There's lots out there, but it's by far the simplest and most effective. So
Absolutely. And it's very easy for people to try to seek out physical treatment for their overall well-being. And like, for instance, I remember going for a walk with you, Maura, at the upstate, Jay's family's house in upstate New York. And I go, what have you been up to? And I said, I've been doing chiropractic for my back. I've been doing acupuncture. And one of the questions you asked me was, well, what are you doing for you? What are you doing for your quote unquote mental health, soul, spiritual wellness? Because as we know, that can translate into physical pain, and that cannot be ignored. So how do you guys meet people with that and just unlock that in people?
Oh, Kevin, I remember that walk. And yeah, that I really, truly intend to point people in the direction that their body loves them. That although you're experiencing pain, it's trying to get your attention to keep you on track. And so who am I to take that guidance system away from you rather than me just like take your pain? Let's move into it. Let's lean into it. Let's be really curious about what this highly intelligent system is trying to support you with. And so some people like that. Some people don't. Some people are just like, just take it. And that's totally fine. But that is available. And so then how that translates into the breath work is you're actively breathing into the places that your body is holding, whether it's holding emotions, whether it's holding unconscious material, but it's just greeting the places inside and whereby actively having a relationship with what your energy body is doing and how it's translating into your physical body. And it's the most empowering thing that we can provide another as we hold space for them, being like, you're doing it. You got this. You can do hard things. Keep going. Yeah, that's the direction that I invite them to consider.
Jay, do you have anything to add on that?
Our approach to healing work is really, I think, empowering for people. Like Maura said, not everybody wants to be empowered in their healing, but it offers them an opportunity to really look and take responsibility for their healing. So in a breathwork session, I'm not like doing anything behind the scenes, like Maura said, to take their pain or to heal them. It's really just holding the space of loving someone and knowing that who you're with, that they are this divine soul that came into this life to experience certain things, to remember who they are as loving consciousness. So just creating that space, it happens in that space. That's their intention.
So people that are listening to this and are hearing about Revelation Breathwork for the first time, what is Revelation Breathwork on a physical aspect, on a mental aspect? How do you perform the breath? And what does an actual session with you guys look like?
I think before we get into the technicality, what differentiates Revelation Breathwork, because it's wonderful. Now breathwork is being talked about. It's being offered more. There's many different ways to breathe. I mean, pranayama has been around since the beginning of time with yogis and like acts of this purely physiological function to connect to their highest self and to the divine. But what is different about Revelation Breathwork is the breath is the breath is the breath. It's very simple. However, this line of energy is completely lies on the foundation of spiritual psychology. So like, as Jason's saying, it's not so much about the technique, although we will go over it. It is really about the intention behind it, It's about where we are inside of ourselves as we're holding space for another, that the blessing that we do, that it is so infused with a high vibrational experience, so that we can truly like rest in knowing that whatever the person needs to do to get to where they need to go is totally fine. Like if they need to just fall asleep on the floor for the 40 minutes, we trust that. If they need to cry the entire time, we trust that. If they're uncomfortable, that's just the next level of their experience.
Yeah, it's so simple. We can demonstrate or just, I guess, describe the technique. The thing that I say to everybody that's curious about it is try it, like come to class is probably the best way, because I have a video on YouTube that when people sign up for class, they kind of get, it's an 8-minute video describing the breath, kind of it's a physical experience, some of the physical sensations that can come along with it, and describes the flow of a class that's been online. And I would recommend that. Very simple. So the technique itself is 2-step inhale with an exhale. It's an active breath. So it's like an active meditation. So we're going to take a big belly breath deep into the lung. We want to fill up 80 to 85% of our oxygen in there. We're laying down when we do this. So I'm sitting up right now, but you'll be laying down, big deep belly breath, low and deep. Then a chest breath on top of that, kind of up into your chest, and then an exhale. And the exhale is just a letting go. It's not a big forceful push. And it's also not like a long drawn out sigh. Like there are a lot of breathing techniques that are about really resting in your body and feeling at peace. And this technique, it's not that it's not that, but it is an active breath where you get into a rhythm. So belly, chest, exhale. Some people have a little variety on that actual technique, but that's how we teach it. That's what we've seen be really effective. So it has this element of, when you get into it, we combine it with music, and you get into the rhythm, you get into a space where it's, again, the most effective technique to get out of your own head, out of your own way, and drop into your body and into your heart.
I love these classes so much because the first part of class is active. You're really working for it and you decide how far you want to go with it. But my favorite part is the cool down. The guided meditation afterward is just so amazing. And the release of emotions and feelings, and the guided meditation is really great. And could you explain, once the breathwork part is where it needs to be, what you do afterwards to really let everything flow out and release tension and emotions and feelings?
I wish I could explain that. It just kind of happens. That's the good part.
Well, I mean, yes. And this is also what differentiates our training from other trainings. Like we have a background, Kevin. You and I like know physiology. Like there is that like piece where it is really interesting how the CO2, O2 relationship shifts after active to more passive and receptive breathing. And there is a natural occurrence that happens just as we reset and recalibrate with the CO2. But you say that.
Well, I talk about how it's like during the active breathing, it's a controlled fight or flight. So normally you want to breathe through your nose, right? A lot of benefits, nitric oxide, a lot of other, putting yourself into the parasympathetic nervous system. But with this active breath in and out through the mouth, it activates your sympathetic nervous system. Like, hey, I'm already tapped out here. Like, why am I doing that? But it's in a controlled, safe space, and you're not really like maxing it out. You're just accessing it. And when it's done in a conscious way, in a space where you're held and supported, it really allows one in that controlled fight or flight to let go of a lot of that stored fight or flight adrenaline in the nervous system and the energy that we've held on to from traumatic, big things where we just went into survival mode, really. So we can let some of that go. So in the active breath, that comes up. And then in the rest portion, like you're saying, it is about just opening your heart space, and you start breathing through your nose, which floods your body with oxygen and endorphins and serotonin in that moment. And it can help you people have visions, people have conversations with ascended masters, dead relatives, all kinds of things that are very real. I think the power of this work is it gets us out of, and it is so embodied, like you are in your body when you're breathing, and there's physical sensations while you breathe. And at the same time, as you're embodied, you're not identified with your body. And that, for so many people, for me, it's liberation. Because when we're not identified with our physical body, it's a part of us, but it's not who we are. That is cause for letting go of so much fear in our life, when we're in survival mode, where we're trying to just take care of our physical life, and we can access part of us so much more than that.
And how has it been with you guys that you guys were obviously all doing in-person, in-class sessions, and then with COVID-19, you had to think outside the box and keep spreading this message to your clients and people that still want to experience it. So now, correct me if I'm wrong, you're doing virtual classes and still getting very beneficial, amazing results. How has it changed with doing the virtual classes?
Well, I know for myself, I was really hesitant about it because I get so much about being around other people's energy and how I can feel it and feed off of it. And it like, for me, it's such a powerful component of taking the class and facilitating class, like really seeing how each person was responding and tending to them, and then going to like a Zoom class where people black out their screen and you're just like, I hope you're having a good time. And so for me, it's really invited even more trust and more intuition and more just sensing just the group energy and really tapping into my own inner knowing with them. So it's been amazing and it's translated beautifully. And we've had feedback that some people feel like they have even more permission to express themselves and to go to places because they are not so aware of people around them.
Yeah,
but
that's a good
Jason
point.
has been rocking and rolling with the classes. You do like 4 a week for
we're doing 4 a week. We've had people from I think 58 countries all over the world. We have people from Mongolia that join us, Kenya, every continent, Australia, New Zealand, everywhere, all over Europe. It's pretty amazing. They normally would never be able to access. And it helps us get beyond the limits of kind of time and space, like energy, consciousness, information. We're all connected at a deeper soul level. And to me, it just allows, like Maura said, us to kind of connect to that energy and feel more rather than, I guess, think more. And again, just identify from the body a little bit.
What I'm so impressed with from a healing perspective is that you can have somebody that just broke up with their boyfriend, somebody that's got a lot of real life trauma from their childhood or early adulthood, and another person that just wants to clear their head, get like a little mental release. You're all meeting these people in one Zoom class, and they're all getting such amazing results, and they're on all different journeys and parts in life, and you're still helping all of them. And from me, like how I try to get people better is a one-on-one session chiropractically, and then that you guys can actually meet people all over the world, not even put your hands on them, and just walk them through this breath meditation, and you're still getting phenomenal results. It's mind-blowing to me. It's amazing.
I appreciate where you're coming from. Completely.
You know exactly where I'm coming from. Yeah.
Having and then also having that feedback, like you're with the person, you know what you're feeling, you know how they're responding, and being able to work with that in real time. And pretty much, especially with the Zoom, the virtual classes has really provided me with, I don't want to speak for you, but the truth of what healing is, where it truly is seeking out the places inside that are yearning for loving and applying loving to them. And with that being said, it really is connecting with the truth of who we are, which is love. And the whole purpose of why we're here is to share and loving and experience that. And so although everyone comes in with their certain type of pain and trauma, the elixir is the same for all of them. And it's just applying loving.
Well said. And I would just add, it's not always just for, it is for healing in terms of like people who want to, whether it's get out of their head, de-stress, heal trauma, heal the past. We've had people who come who it's like, this is their business secret. They're like, I get my best business ideas, my best creativity from these sessions because again, I'm out of my head. I'm accessing higher information. I'm accessing higher creativity, higher heart space opening. So it's available to any, that's why it's so simple. And in the way that kind of segueing into our facilitation training, because we've been offering a certification facilitation course for other people to offer this. And we have people who are therapists and coaches and people in the healing professions. And we have people who are graphic designers, professional photographers, and parents and just anyone. And invariably, their experience when they facilitate for another one, even if people come to the training that don't want to be facilitators, they just want to deepen in the healing process for themselves, they're always blown away by how much they receive as a facilitator. And the reason is, when our approach to facilitation, again, it's simple. You're just holding the space of loving this person in front of you, seeing them for who they are, their humanity, their heart, their soul, and letting them be on their own journey without you trying to fix it. Like it is easy, and it is sacred, and it's beautiful. So that's our approach to healing. And that's why no matter who you are, where you are, I've worked with Navy SEALs, professional athletes, executives, everyone on all the spectrum, kids, teenagers. We're all in the same swimming pool together. So it's the ocean of love and energy.
So I want to ask you both a very straightforward question here. And I think it's the reason why you guys love doing Revelation Breathwork. What has Breathwork done for you personally? And how has it helped you evolve and meet people where they're at and help stimulate healing in others?
All right. So that is a very big question. Personally, gosh, Kev, like when I receive breathwork, when I participate in a class, like Carrie comes to me every time. I connect with myself at a younger age and like heal old memories of where I've like just judged myself so hard or judged the scenario. Breathwork, like Jason referred to earlier, I get such clear guidance, business-wise, reaching out to certain people-wise. Pretty much like all this after chiropractic, my entire business with women's groups and coaching and everything has completely been downloaded from breathwork. And the way that it comes through is so clear and strong that I've learned to just trust it. And it's a powerful practice for me. But otherwise, it's completely enriched our relationship. Like working with Jason has been a tremendous gift that I would never have thought we would work together in this way. Like seeing him shine and rise and speak is really extraordinary. And just really helping other people tap into what is available to them. Like really, Jason keeps on referring to being out of the body. There is this dance of like experiencing ourselves out of the body. And there is that experience of like really being in this body, like treasuring and reveling in like this body has carried us through all of the things and it getting like a tactile like experience of the tapestry of like the memories that come forward in a session and just having so much appreciation for oneself is so rare and completely available.
And for me, I mean, however you want to call it, I think from my whole life, I've been really called to it is taking the experience of an intellectual understanding or concepts of God, the universe, goddess, the source, whatever you want to call it, that higher power that is loving, that essence of everything, and getting out of it from an intellectual standpoint, like understanding, oh, I get that. I understand that. That makes sense to me, to having the direct experience of having a conversation with God, of feeling my heart and like seeing and having real experiences that cannot be denied with angels, with guides, with ancestors, and having those things inform my life. And so it's so practical because as parents, I have a full-time job and we run two businesses. We run a business. I've got a separate business. Like it's kids and virtual schooling. Like it's got to be practical. It's got like these principles of spiritual psychology, experience of what it means to be a divine being, having a human experience, and how messy it is, and the fears and the resistances, and just the contrast in life when you're trying to figure it all out. Like it's been, I guess, like a lighthouse or, a rooted for me in terms of just being in the world. It's helped me so much on so many levels.
And I just want to color in one statement just a little bit here. What's it like having those quote unquote sessions with the divine? What does that do for you? And how do you get there personally?
Gosh, that's a great question, Kevin. Release all expectations that it's going to happen. Stay really present and let it be okay if I just experience my resistance or my judgment. Because sometimes there'll be sessions where I'm judging the entire time. And it's like, and then there's like, oh, but I want the juice. And recognizing that like this being in resistance, staying with myself as I'm in resistance is the opportunity for this level that's being presented. And what connecting with the divine does is it empowers me to not take any of this seriously and to just do the fucking thing, say the words, meet the people, like just get out of the way and be an instrument, like use me, help, like just show me in a way I can understand and I'll do it. I might have a lot of resistance along the way, but I will do it.
Beautiful. So where can people sign up and take Revelation Breathwork?
On revelationbreathwork.com. They can check us out there. We have our class schedule right now is every Tuesday. There's 4 classes a week at a set time that you can join on Zoom. It's very easy. It's an hour class. It's very affordable. It's for anybody. Again, we've had people from all over take these classes. And then you can learn more about our facilitator trainings as well if you feel called to that. And we have occasional workshops on certain themes. We have one coming up tomorrow about creating and honoring loving boundaries, which is very relevant during politics season and holiday season. We're pretty active. You can also find us on Instagram at Revelation Breathwork, and Maura is at Rosewood Healing.
And if you are looking for in-person healing sessions, chiropractic, other forms of care, Maura has an unbelievable practice. Maura, why don't you talk about your practice, where it is and where people can find you and make an appointment?
Well, and I have phenomenal practitioners too.
Yes, you do.
As you've had on your show, Dr. Tim Moynihan is the best of the best out there. And
yes,
he definitely knows how to support the deepest level of healing. But yeah, I have a beautiful, wonderful healing center in Los Angeles, West Los Angeles. Is it? This Culver City is really City. Where it is. Get back in my body here. And we offer alternative care with acupuncture and craniosacral and Reiki and functional medicine and a lot of different sources of support specifically for the families of Los Angeles. My specialty is pregnancy and pediatrics, but we serve all shapes and sizes and
beautiful.
Yeah, whoever's ready, getting loved on.
All right. And I want to ask one last question. What advice would you give to your 18-year-old self knowing what you know now? It's a loaded question.
It's all going to work out. Don't worry so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one. 18. I would just really encourage myself to take more risks because it is all going to work out.
Love that.
And we were already together. We got together 16, 17. So
yeah. What would you tell yourselves together? Exactly.
It's all going to work out. Don't worry so much.
Guys, thank you so much for coming on. This was a really great episode. Love having you both on. Love doing this with both of you. And we will definitely be doing it again in a couple months.
Thank you so much. I want to acknowledge you for your commitment, for showing up. I mean, just listening to your podcast, all the guests that you have, your commitment to helping and serving other people, and how you've been doing it consistently over time and just you don't stop and you keep bringing more value is so inspiring. So love you. I appreciate you. I see what you're doing with life and how you're making the world a better place. So grateful that you're family, man.
Yes.
And the other thing that you do, Kevin, is you make it so fun. Like you're so you and like your authenticity is so appealing and warm and safe. So I'm really proud
Thank you guys. I appreciate that. That means a lot. Thank you. Thank you everyone for listening. If you enjoy the podcast, subscribe, give us 5 stars, and leave a review. It really helps boost the podcast and spread the good word. My chiropractic practice is located in West Orange, New Jersey at Montclair Upper Cervical Chiropractic. You can also find us on Facebook at Montclair Upper Cervical Chiropractic. All of my information is on my website at drkevinpecca.com, drkevinpecca.com. You can subscribe to my YouTube channel at Dr. Kevin Pecca for podcast episodes, patient testimonials, and educational videos. I have daily affirmations and inspirational quotes on Instagram at Easel Affirmations, EASEL Affirmations. And if you have any questions, feel free to email me at drkevinpecca@gmail.com, drkevinpecca@gmail.com. Thank you, everyone, and have a great day. Cheers.